Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Vada Local coming at you with another unboxing video. Today, we are doing, by popular demand, another unboxing of our slabs that we sent into PCG. And we've got quite a few of them. So they were kind of running that sale for express grading. So I had quite a few that I wanted to get in and quick turnaround, and yeah, so definitely capitalized on that one. But before we get into kind of actually, well, I guess as we're doing this, I really wanted to talk about the last video that we did. There was a lot of good discussion about kind of the grading process as a whole, and definitely wanted to kind of touch base on it and kind of get your guys' opinions and thoughts and everything. Is it worth it to grade and slab your cards? And I guess the TLDR is it all depends on why you're doing it. So I guess some backstory, kind of going back in the day, you have your PSA, your Beckett, and like your CGC as kind of the original go-to graders. And I'm trying to open this box so I don't see the grades because I haven't seen these yet. And they loaded them face up, so the slabs are facing me, or the grades are facing up. So let me get these kind of turned out. Oh my goodness, there are so many of them. Hopefully I don't knock them over. Okay, there we go. All right, but yeah, so what I was saying is there were your big companies like PSA, CGC, Beckett. They were kind of your go-tos at the start. And originally the concept of grading wasn't there. It was more of authenticating. So people would send in cards, comic books, all of this stuff, signatures, things like that to get them authenticated so they would know, hey, what I'm trying to sell or trying to buy is legit. So yeah, that's kind of the way things started. And let's take a look. These two cards real quick are the Dragon Scale lands from Tarkir. And this one is my brother's, which is a Misty Rainforest. And we'll just do kind of a quick flip for a 9.5. And he did note there were some edges based on the way it was cut that kind of, and the foiling on it, it seemed a little off. But so yeah, a 9.5 on a pack fresh from PCG, I'd say is pretty good there. And now here's one of mine. The Arid Mesa is also a 9.5, and it actually, it got more 9.5s across the board. Interesting. Okay. One thing I will note is you got to be careful with these. The sleeves, you can see how there's space at the bottom, and there isn't at the top. Let me, if I can tap it down. Yep. So the card still does move in these slabs a little bit, which is not really a good thing if you're trying to preserve it, PCG. So take note of that. But yeah, okay, so getting back to kind of the history, so PSA, Beckett, CGC, those were all kind of companies and everything that were authenticating. Then comes along, like Pokemon and the PSA 10 craze of, you get an quote-unquote authentic card, and that should raise the price, if it's authentic, and then it's graded really well. This is a Radiant Lotus Fracture Foil, which got an 8 somehow. So this is going to lead me into the metrics behind this. So the only metrics that all of these companies have is going to be on your centering. So PSA is going to be the most lenient. So to get like a PSA 10, you need a 55 to 45% on the front. So that's basically how off center in one direction it is. CGC and Beckett, I've got the screens and everything over here. So they're going to be 50-50 all around on the front, but then on the back as well would be a 55-45. And then PCG, you're looking for a perfect 50-50. So those are the only metrics, like hard-coded numbers, that these cards have to meet in order to get a grade. So this is a first place foil Ether Spark. Wow, got a Gem Mint 10. How about that? It's got it's like a little dirt on the packaging. But yeah, so my biggest complaint is you've got metrics that you can do for centering, right? Because you can sit there and you have a little template, you can measure it out, and you can get, a really good idea that there is a clear-cut answer for centering. But when it comes to corners, edges, surfaces, every one of these companies says, oh, it's a blemish, or it's a stain, or it's a spot. Well, how much of a spot does it have to be to go from a 9.5 to a 9 or an 8? I have never been able to get a straight answer from any of them about it, so I don't know. It's all really, really subjective, and that's really frustrating when it comes to assigning a grade, because it all boils down to somebody's, quote unquote an expert, somebody's opinion on a grade. So like this one, a surface of a 7. Where? It's a fracture foil, so you're going to have the texture. So I don't know. It's really frustrating to see that. So Mox Opal 8.5, kind of knew that one. This one was a little bit loved. It's a much older card, but next one's going to be a first place finish Radiant Lotus. Ooh, nice. That one I am happy about. So somewhere on the edges, something happened. So why did it go from a 10? Let me pull this up a little bit more. So where did it go from a 10 to a 9.5 on this? I don't know. I think the only company that's out there that actually gives you a report on how things are graded is Tag. The unfortunate thing with Tag is their slabs are doo-doo. Yeah, so the reason I keep going with PCG is their slabs are ridiculously good. This is a Mox Amber coming back at a 9, which is to be expected as well. A little bit loved card. And again, the card is sliding around in the sleeve. We got to do something about that, PCG. We got to protect our cards. Fractured Foil Spectacular Pileup, 9.5. I will take that. Salvation Engine Fractured Foil. So these are all going to be a lot of the Fractured Foil Ether Drift stuff that I pulled. Some of the Tarkir stuff and a little bit of some of the older cards that I have, but a lot of this is going to be the collectible side of Ether Drift. So 9.5 on that. I'll take that one. Okay, Ketramos, first place finish. So this one has the potential to be a big one. 9.5. Okay, I'll take it. But again, what makes these edges, if it would focus, there we go. What makes these edges a 9 versus a 9.5 or a 10? I don't know. Nobody can answer that, nor give you the reasoning behind it. That's a Tempest. That's an older one. Scorched Runes, same thing. Scorched Runes. Okay, so those were some of the older cards. Let's get those kind of set aside. And then we've got some of our Flesh and Blood. So, yeah, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll do Flesh and Blood last because I wanted to show you guys something really cool that they do. Okay, so here's an old card, Metal Worker from Urza's Destiny, a non-foil rare, coming in at an 8. That doesn't surprise me. This card, I mean, before grading was even a thing with Urza's Destiny, yeah, the surface, I mean, it sat in a box, in a box, in a box for a decade, if not more. So that doesn't surprise me. It had a little wear and tear. But again, can we get some transparency? Why? You know, for a surface grade, how big of a smudge is it to make the difference? So I will say all of the companies on their websites do say the whole industry standard when it comes to grading. But you say an industry standard, but nothing's documented. So how is it a standard? I don't know. All right, next, Avacyn Angel of Hope. This is going to be a foiled poster card. 9.5. I'll take that. That was pack fresh from one of the collector box openings. And straight into a protector and then on its way. So next is a Chrome Mox Double Masters for a 9. Same thing as the other kind of older cards. It did have some love. There we go. Got to kind of tap them down every now and then to make sure they... that's an Ixidor. That's another old card. There's I am interested in that one. Let me get the Flesh and Blood over there. Here, okay, so here's another Avacyn of Hope for another 9.5. And I'm just curious if this would pick it up. All right, so there are differences minus the edges. So you've got two 10s, a 9 and a 9.5 for both of them. But this centering's off a little bit, apparently. But it has a perfect surface. And this one has some defect or something. This one over here on the left on the surface to get it to, you know, lose half a point. So, okay. But yeah, so I guess kind of boiling down and finishing up the Magic cards before we get into Flesh and Blood. Kind of the concept of, is it worth it to slab your cards? Rishadan Port at an 8. Okay, yeah, another old card sat in a box. It all boils down to, why are you grading it? A lot of people, especially in the Pokemon world, are grading it to try and, you know, get a high grade to flip it and make a profit. Some of the other options, you know, if you're just a collector and you've got an old card like this 5th edition Mana Vault, maybe it's just something that you want to protect. So a near mint 8 on that one. You know, well-loved card. I'm pretty sure I played with that one before sleeves were a thing, so yeah, don't hate me on that one, but I'll take an 8 on it. So yeah, it boils down to just the question of, is it, why are you doing it? You know, a 7. Oof. So something happened on the surface on this one, but nobody's going to be able to tell me. Nobody's going to be able to tell me. All right. Well, let's keep going through some of these older cards, and then we'll get into the Flesh and Blood. So a 7 for a Replenish. That doesn't surprise me. This card, I know for a fact. Yeah, I mean, you can see the whitening up on the corner. Oh, here, you can see the whitening up on the corner. There it is. Yeah, this card was played way before I had any concept of collectability, and I was just like, I just want to play. Weather Lights. This is a Scorched Runes for an 8. Same kind of deal. 7 on the surface. Something happened there, but can't tell me what. Here's my second Scorched Runes and a 7, so this one is even worse. And I keep hitting it so the card goes down in the sleeve, so yeah. PCG, you might need to look into a better sleeve inside of it. Just saying. If we can focus. I'm just going to hold it up as high as I can. There we go. Yeah, so got a 6 on the surface and then 7s and 8s on everything else. Who knows? All right, next is a Humility, so a Tempest. A 7. Goodness, it's picking up my lights. Yep, so something on surface. The centering's really good on it, apparently. Yeah, you'll I feel like you're gonna hear and see a trend when it comes to grading for a lot of these. This is a first place foil, Chrome Mox. So this is a big hitter. A 9.5. So something on the edges happened and the centering's off a little bit. I'd be interested to see which direction they think the centering's off on. Lastly, a Ghostfire foil Dracogenesis. This is going to be in Japanese. This is one of my brother's cards that we submitted together. And that silver label is kind of a, yeah, it already tells you kind of the range that it's in, which is a spoiler. So yeah, we got a 9 on it. So something on the edges happened. 3 9.5s and an 8.5. So that's a bummer. Which, P.S., also, if you average these out, it's closer to a 9 than it is, or sorry, yeah, okay. It's going to be closer to a 9.5 than it is a 9. Well, I guess technically it's right in the middle. It's a 9.25, so I guess they weren't feeling generous with that grade. All right, so next we've got some Flesh and Blood, and I wanted to show you guys these because this is really cool what they do. Let me, well, I spoiled that one because I see that, so let me put those there. And then these, and I spoiled those too. All right. Oh, goodness, I just knocked them over on the desk. Man, I need to get my little carrier out or something. Or get a bigger desk. All right, so the cool thing that PCG does that I am a big advocate for since I recently started playing Flesh and Blood is these little player slabs. And, man, it's unfortunate because they didn't put them all in the way they're supposed to go. So some of these are getting, their grades are showing. QAQC, guys, come on. Do better. Okay, so other than your full slabs, where they have the grade on the top, these are your thin player slabs that you can actually use and play, like actually down on the table. Well, and, you know, keeping them protected while keeping the grade. So the grade on these is actually on the back. So you don't get necessarily the the same breakdown as the subcategories, but you can use the QR code apparently and find it, which is going to be under your account, your online account with them. But yeah, so we've got a prism. This is going to be a promo rainbow foil in a 9. And then a dash, another promo, in an 8.5 near mint. Now, one thing I did feel, it almost felt like that slab wiggled a little bit. I could be imagining it. Well, actually, no. It's the card in there. Listen, I'm going to hold this up to the mic. Listen. That's the card rattling around in the slab. So, yeah, PCG, if you're watching, here's another one. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Yeah. That's not a great way to protect things if they're going to wiggle around in the case. Sir Bolton, 9.5. A little promo foil on that one. Nice. Levia. So another promo with a 9. I'm going to make sure I'm showing these. Okay. Arachne Funnel Web Marvel. I pulled this during the Flesh and Blood box openings, or not oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. The Hunted, goodness. So super excited to see what this one is. So a mint 9. So why? Oh, okay. So this is the player slab. So these are going to be a little bit thicker and still kind of playable, where these are your thin slabs. Let's see if these rattle. Okay, no rattling with these. But it also does look like the card is sliding. Yeah, the card can slide around in there a little bit. But yeah, these are going to be slightly different. They're thinner. So I did all of the equipment in the thin player, or in the thin slabs. All right, so next is a Mask of Momentum Rainbow Foil Legendary and an 8.5. And I am okay with all of these playing equipment not being 10s, because, like I said, these are for playing. Flick Knives Legendary, 9. Dragon Scalar Flight Path. Pulled these as well from the Hunted. The Rainbow Foil in a 9. Bearforge Bracers. If we could focus. There we go. Legendary in a 9. I feel like there's a pattern emerging. Crown of Providence in an 8.5. So, I mean, at least all of these are coming back in really, I would say, decent grades. Not expecting any sort of 10s or anything from these. Spring Tunic. Ooh, nice. A 9.5 that actually came with the subgrades. Which none of the other ones did that. Let me see if it'll focus on that one. Okay. So something on the edges made it go to a 9. But a 9.5 on a tunic? Heck yeah, I'll take that. Very nice. All right, next is Meridian Pathway. There we go, focus. That's going to be a 9. Quick Dodge Flexors. Going through all of our equipment. And a 9. Traverse the Universe. And unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be using much of this anytime soon, because I was going to use her for, oh my goodness, she just LL'd, and now I'm drawing a blank. Enigma, there we go. And a 9. Still good grades. And lastly, a blood-spattered vest from the Hunted Rainbow Foil. And a 9.5. Okay, so it does appear that the subgrades, if you get into the gold level, they are going to add the subgrades for it, which is kind of cool, I guess. Kind of a bummer on some of them, maybe. Oh, I totally forgot. We had, we still have other cards in the slabs. Well, let's get through the last of the Flesh and Blood. So this is Sizzle promo. Nothing too fancy. 9.5. Aether Quickening. 8.5 promo for the yellow. And Aether Quickening promo red in a 9. And last Aether Quickening blue with also a 9. All right. All right, last of the magic cards. Let's just do that and we'll go through it. So Chrome Mox. This is Ether Drift. So this is just going to be the special guest. Came back as a 9. So something happened on the edges. And something happened on the surface. All right. Curse Cloth Wrapping, Fracture Foil. Ooh, nice. If it'll focus on it. So something on the edges. Almost had a gold label on that one. I knew when I got that one that it was pretty good. I'm okay with that one. All right. I can't even speak. Chandra, Spark Hunter, Fracture Foil. 9.5. Again, something with the edges. And I almost wonder if it has something to do with like how they're cutting the cards. But again, who knows? It's all assumptions right now. Assumptions with no metrics. March of the World Ooze, Fractured Foil. Ooh, nice. Another 10. I'll take that. I have to keep hitting all of them down to get the card out of the top there. All right, lastly, Mimeoplasm Fractured Foil. In a 9.5. All right, yeah, so overall, I guess I'm okay with most of the grades, but it's still super frustrating to get some grades back and be like, why? Like, without all of the metrics coming across the board, slabbing your cards is really frustrating because it's all opinionated. It's all down to the grader and how they're feeling that day. And if it's not, I would love these companies to reach out and prove to me wrong, because the way I see it and the way it's coming across is it's all down to the grader. Outside of centering, there are no metrics. So, yeah. PCG, I was giving you credit for your slabs doing really well. These player slabs and the way the card wiggles around in it, that's not good. Not good at all. So until that gets fixed, I won't be doing any more player slabs. That's for sure. But yeah, all right. Well, head down into the comments. Let me know what you guys think about grading. If you think it's worth it. Also, which cards do you feel, whether it's Pokemon, Flesh and Blood, Magic, whatever it may be, which ones would you probably grade? And if you guys think it's worth it. So yeah, let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And yeah, there's more to come. So do that YouTube stuff for me. Like, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys have a great day. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.